I am not ready at all. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for listening to Clemente's Corner. This is my podcast that I created where I interview people I find interesting, cool people that are pursuing their dreams, working hard, all that good stuff. People that are artistic locally, people that are killing it here in the 806. And this is no exception today. I had on Ronnie, Lloyd, Nanos. He is the owner of R&R Bar here. He is also a burlesque performer, a professional ballet dancer, a director, and an actor. He's a man that wears many hats, and he is a very cool, interesting guy. And it was a good podcast. We start out kind of randomly. We're talking about him auditioning for some Zoom stuff, acting, things like that. So we'll just get right into it. One last thing I do want to plug. I do have a show coming up Wednesday, March 10th at Tees Bar. I'll be opening for Terrence Hartnett. Hartnett? It's a free show. So come out, okay? He lives in a van. So he's gonna do some comedy. I'm gonna host. It's gonna be a good time, and it's free. So why wouldn't you be there? Why not? Why don't you support us? Why don't you love me, world? Just kidding. I hope you enjoy the show. This is Ronnie, Lloyd, Nanos.
For that aspect, there's advantages to it. I mean, I prefer, of course, anytime live auditioning whenever you can. But
yeah, for sure.
Right now, that's where we're at.
Awesome. That's cool. You still get to do it. I wasn't sure, because I listened to all your previous things you sent me. I guess those were all in 2020 and a little bit before, right?
Right, they were. And from that Zoom audition this week, I did get it, so it did work out.
Congrats.
Yeah, I get to play. I'm going to be a serial killer.
Oh, I can see it.
It's been really kind of cool, and I was like, ooh, Barry Hills, but he's like part of this Barry Hills Have Eyes cult. I'm like, oh, interesting.
It's got poisoning.
Yeah, so right. So we'll see. It was kind of cool. I was like, I'm the director writer. She's like, she knows me through production stuff. She goes, and I'm a very reluctant actor or performer. I'd rather be on this side. I like that. I like it better. I just happen to perform still sometimes.
That's awesome.
But she even asked about, she knew I was reluctant. She goes, would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'd be interested in this role. So there you go. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I'm on this whole, I'm all yammering or whatever,
Oh, no, it's great.
The effect of the edible. See, I'll be candid. We're on a podcast. I'm very candid. The effects of an edible, that I finally take. Being in Vegas, I was like, I'm going to bring an edible. I have home. So.
Nice. And it's
chill.
Is it full legal in Nevada?
Yes, it is fully legal there.
That's fun.
Yeah. I love being able to go back in and to the typical dispensaries. I go in and I'm like, you put your ID and they already know you. It's like going to a bar with your bartenders and you have your bud tenders. I have my favorite bud tenders.
I
love it.
To buy my drugs illegally,
right?
Can't go hang out in front of someone's house and wait for them to come outside.
Right.
Be really quiet about it, just
right.
To a dispensary down the street.
Well, especially things like especially marijuana. I mean, just the decriminalization of drugs. Anyway, I'm like, there's so much worse shit out there to be, about than than a little escapism.
Exactly. I feel like all these CBD stores are just waiting for that law to pass. Like, all right.
I think so too. And I love seeing them because that's what they're waiting for. I know business owners and people that are out of town business that do some here that have bought properties that are waiting to turn specific properties into weed stores already here in town. I know that's people have bought ahead. Yeah. So I know where there's going to be one on 6th as soon as it's legal. I know that.
Yeah,
and that's the neighborhood. So I like that. I can just walk to it.
So yeah, I didn't start out with an intro, but it's okay. I can go in and record one. But I want to talk about a number of things you do. Acting, directing, you're a business owner, professional burlesque performer? Is it considered
Gee,
professional? Is that the term? Yeah.
sure, that works. Yes, I mean, I guess most burlesque performers can be considered professional if they're getting paid. I mean, if that's the definition, sure, yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So,
That's exciting. So
uh, well, because you know how that is out here. Even like for our burlesque performers, you as a comic, just to get paid gigs is nice. It's like, sometimes some are more lucrative than others, but just that there's the availability in a place like Amarillo
yeah,
to find
definitely.
some paid gigs for performers or artists or anything. So
I mean, anytime I make money here, it's always like very exciting. So yeah, and
I
I
was actually
appreciate you hosting
looking at
so much.
I was actually looking at some of your back. You didn't really get into stand-up comedy until really the last few years.
Yeah,
It hasn't been that long.
I started April 27th, April 26th of 2017.
Wow, so it's going to be 4 years next month.
Yes, even though I took a brief hiatus, as everyone did in
Right.
2020. So
You're really good.
thank you very much.
You're really really good. I honestly, I wouldn't blow smoke up your ass. I'm not that. I think you're really good. I've seen a lot of stand-up comedy. I enough for me to look you up and see how long you've done it, and I'm like, I can't believe Matt's only done it that way. You're really good. You're very natural. You can do it. You can do it outside of here. I know you can very easily.
Yeah, that's the plan. Not that I
I
don't
know you can.
though,
And
but
when I was directing Evil Dead the musical on the Strip, all of our main performers and leads in that one, all of them were stand-up comics. So
really?
I got to learn. Yes, most of our actors in that show came from the stand-up comedy world. There's one named, his name is Chris Weedman. He goes from, oh gosh, Swinging Jack or something like that. And we had a few. Most of them were stand-up comics. My only problem sometimes with them when we would, when I would have to give notes, I had to direct that for a month. But always my notes were like, guys, you can't improv the entire show. There is an actual script. Stand-up comics are the best improvisers, and you'd be surprised. Again, that for most actors, improv is the hardest thing. So I have a lot of respect for comics because it's hard. It's very hard.
Oh yeah, definitely. It is. It takes a while to get to where you feel comfortable in front of an audience. So you telling me I'm good, it means a lot. So I appreciate it.
Right. And timing. You have really good timing. Yeah, you get it. I'm like, he is really. I see it from a director's point of view. I'm like, I'm like, he would be a good actor too. Nice, very nice. That's the I pay attention to.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I listened to several of your interviews. Got some information. You're from El Paso.
I am.
What brought you to Amarillo originally?
I originally came to Amarillo, Texas in 1992, and I got my first professional theater gig. I came here to do Texas.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. So
Back in 1992.
they were recruiting out all over Texas?
Well, Texas, the show, the musical, again, I'm going to do some promo. Actually, that outdoor show here in Paladero Canyon, it actually it's a professional show. It has been. They actually tour the country and do auditions all across the country.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I auditioned for Texas. I was in San Antonio for a convention. I remember this. I was 19 years old in 1992 when I auditioned for Texas. And yeah, they audition all over the country. So they bring in talent from all across the United States, actually. They've done that at least in the almost 30 years that I've been involved with them in any way. So that's what brought me out here originally. I came out here, I was hired, that was my first professional gig as a performer was to do Texas.
That's awesome. So you were 19. Had you been doing acting and musicals in high school and everything?
Like community, high school kind of stuff. I mean, I always knew what I wanted to do. I always did. I'm like, so even when I auditioned for Texas, I was actually auditioning for scholarships for theater schools and universities at that time, just trying to, move elsewhere to go to school. I really thought at that time before I auditioned for that show that, my ambitions were, I'm going to become this theater guy and teach it in high school. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a great thing, but that's not the path it took me on. I can't imagine being a high school teacher now. No,
So that
I've had to substitute teach for high school and for middle school. It's never again. Oh my God, I don't have the patience for it.
yeah, I don't think I would either. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with.
Well, and I like to cuss, and I used to like to smoke, but myself like can't say that shit. But yeah, that was the worst part of it. And middle school kids, though, they're the toughest. They are tough. I had to, when I was first going back and forth between here in Las Vegas before my salary started to match okay that I could do it, I took on extra work as a substitute teacher for their school district while I was there, and it was rough. It paid really well, but I have a lot of respect for teachers that do it all the time. But yeah, I mean, they're paying $75 an hour
Oh
as a
wow,
substitute teacher. I was like,
that's
which was
cool.
great. I still would never do it again, like ever.
Yeah, those kids.
No,
Kids are
just
crazy, man.
no. But
No
yeah, so
brains, no empathy.
that's what brought. Yeah, and then you can't say shit back because
uh,
they're kids. One, but oh yeah, that too.
Silent
But
Lover has an old bit about how all kids are tiny Hitlers because they haven't
they're
developed
yeah, you're just like
the kindness yet.
just yeah. Oof. And I was asked to go back. I was like, "Are you serious?" No, I don't want to do that. I'm like, you know, no, I don't want to do that. But yeah, so Texas is that's what brought me out here in 1992. I did Texas for 2 seasons, so I was out here a year and a half, and then I moved to New York. But the training here was really that great, actually. It actually existed here. There was actually really good training that got me to that level here. A lot of people come from that show
That's
and
awesome.
work. It's a very little known fact here in Amarillo, getting to a lot of our artistic community. Again, it's like boot camp out there, though. They work you hard. So,
I can see that. You got to like do all kinds of crazy stuff on that show. Seen it a
right.
few times.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yes, I went in high school a couple times.
Right.
Yeah, and there was
Like,
one of the times I went, there's a burn ban, so they had to do like a water show. So the fireworks weren't. The ending wasn't as cool, but
I remember that. Yeah, it's always odd with that show. Like there's this whole water show on a show that's a story about a drought. I'm
mm-hmm.
like, yeah, that makes sense. I remember when they first added that water show a few years ago. Again, I'm that alumni, and I go and I'm very opinionated. They still like me, but I think it's like, where is there like some Bellagio water show at the end of Texas? And I mean, I think they want some stuff, I guess, and you know, because it gets to be a drought and whatever. I get it. I mean, there have been some fire accidents out there through the years. You know, there have been several actually,
It's hot out there.
but
You probably lose a lot of water weight out there.
well, that and then they've had some of the explosives have there have been some bad things that have happened during that time, but again, it's just safety issues. That's after a show that existed. It's now going to be 55 years. Yeah, it's been a learning experience. I have great admiration, and I'll always love that show. I'll always have that, just because again, that's my beginnings, and it's cool to go watch it because it's like they're good beginnings for your first job because it's hard. I mean, it's cheesy. Yes, it is very cheesy, but yeah, it's a difficult show. It's utmost respect for that show. I became a dancer because of that show. I wasn't even a dancer, and because of my training there and the ballet company here, I was a ballet dancer after 2 years' time
Wow.
in dancing. But that happens a lot here. Again, back then they used to have the person that used to be in charge. His name was Neil Hess, and he was very well known across the United States. People came here to train with him, and he ran that show. He was the director, and he was the founder of the Lone Star Ballet, and all his. Yeah, I mean that they were the ballet world. I never thought I was gonna be a ballet dancer. I never set out to be that. I was like performer, but because of that, I went into dance, and then everything else came with it. I had theater training. I still trained in everything else, but it was great to have that career early because it disciplined me because I needed discipline. I was a little, I was a little shit. I mean, I was the guy who tried to get away with everything, and so I guess that makes me a good bar owner too, because I always know what people are trying to get away with shit. I'm like, really, dude? Come on. I've done that shit. I did it better. You know, I was the bad kid ballet dancer here. I mean, I worked hard. I was good, but oh no, I was the one who likes to party or would miss class. I did all of that, and then I I'll admit it.
So just performing for the play is what got
Mhm.
you got you into dancing.
Well, the dancers in that show, it's kind of crazy. You have your singers, and then you have your actors that are hired, then you have your dancers, and the dancers were like fucking rock stars in that show. I mean, they really were. Again, you see them probably the least in the entire show, only for those dance numbers. But they also had to work longer hours. So it was mandatory. You had to go to ballet class every day before the show. You had to take this long hour and a half advanced class
Really?
before going out, and then you'd have to rehearse on the stage in the heat and do a show. I mean, you we were stormtroopers. We were very, like I said, like Star Wars stormtroopers. That, I mean, the training was intense, but the dancers were rock stars because of that. Everybody really, wanted to be one of them because not everybody could do it. And when I got to finally, I mean, I didn't start there. I had started as one of the dudes with flags, and I learned. But then you compete in that world. I'm like, what road am I in? Shit like that. Again, it teaches you a little humility. Again, it's ridiculous discipline. I'm,
Yeah.
but that's why it's such a limited career too. Again, I thought I was done at 35. I'm like, yay, be a bar owner and have little shows and stuff here, and cool. I'm fine. I was fine with that. Just there's after a little bit of time, it didn't turn out that way. There was time to do a little more. That's it.
Nice. So you go all the way to New York. How old are you when you moved to New York?
Right before my 21st birthday, because I remember my 21st birthday when I was in New York. Yeah, right before I turned 21.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And then you just went straight into
I danced. I got on scholarship in dance school, and then I just started auditioning and got a few gigs, a few little national tours and stuff in the city. And primarily I was a dancer, and then I got into another company there, and you know, yeah, that's what I was. I was a dancer in New York. Yeah,
nice.
that's
And
it.
that's kind of where burlesque started in New York.
No, I didn't get into burlesque till about 5 years ago, 5 years ago now.
Oh, really?
I never planned it. That was never a thing for me to do. I'm like, I got into burlesque because our community here started, developing burlesque performers and whatnot. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I'd go see their shows and host them. I'm like, yeah. And when I opened the back room, I wanted burlesque as part of the opening show we did there because I was still a theater guy when I had a singing, like real strong singers, and then skits and burlesque in between. And then, but it was random. I was here hosting and stuff for the girls and people. Most of our burlesque performers here that have done it a while, they started about 8, 9 years ago. I mean, but the troops at that time, the many troops, the local troops that sometimes they're friends, sometimes they're not. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I hosted them all. I'm like, and then sometimes they like me or don't because I'm friends with so and so. I mean, and that's nothing against our own community, our own girls. I see that everywhere. Actually, every local group of burlesque, it's like that.
That drama.
So I'm like, so it actually gives me that confidence in our girls and the people here. I'm like, y'all are fine. It works out. But no, I got into burlesque 5 years ago. One of the girls, Knox Falls, she doesn't live here anymore. She'd been doing shows and I think she goes, have you ever considered doing it? The first set of burlesque girls that did the opening show at the bar, my guarantee to them was, I'm like, I don't know anything. I'll learn about this. But if they did a good job for me, I told them that I would pay for them to go to the Las Vegas Burlesque Festival and get their room and whatnot. They just had to get like a flight there. So I paid for their festival things and whatnot. So the 5 performers that were in that show that were burlesque performers, I took to a festival in Vegas because I was already working in Vegas at the time.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of my slow move into it. I performed in one of their shows, and at that festival, I took class at the festival, and Yeah, it just came from there. Just it was never the intention or plan. In my eyes at the time, I didn't know a lot about it. I'm like, no one wants to see, my old ass out there getting. I'm old. Fuck that. I'm like, but that it just worked out that way. Then you learn more about the community when it's not my primary, focus right now in entertainment or performing and whatnot. I love it, and it was never supposed to be long term for me, honestly. But I do love the community, and I've been very lucky, and yeah, I mean, and I know soon eventually that's going to be less. I love it, but again, I'm that performer. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't need to perform a whole lot, and I got to perform a whole lot in the past few years. I want to focus more towards on film. I think next is that I really, when your hands are in too many pots at the time, I want to make sure one of them I really develop super strong that it gives me more longevity
Yeah,
in work.
definitely.
So, and I think film's where I'm going to next. And
That's
because I can,
else. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, just again, I'm that dude. I don't want to get all. I want to be the person that's there in my comfortable clothes with my glasses, drinking my coffee, not smoking a cigarette anymore. But damn it, I mean, I would usually be smoking a cigarette back in the day during when I was directing that, and then doing the post work and stuff like this. Again, this is more exactly what I like. All that is great, and I love it, but production and like I said, especially in film, it's been neat. I got that audition this week, but I also did 2 Zoom reads of this next script I'm going to direct, and then I kind of consult with the writer, kind of give him some things that I think will be better. I just like developing projects. I like to be in the artistic development of stuff and creating that. That's where personally am happiest.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, you do have your hands in a lot of things, which is,
Yeah,
I mean, I just knew you as like a bar owner and a guy who did burlesque, and then I kind of looked into it, and you direct and act, and you've done like a ton of things, and
right.
been successful at all of them. So
Cool. But
just
I'm tired. I'm, I'm this last couple of weeks, or really this last month, even starting with your all show at the bars, like starting to do things and get things back. So I'm excited for it and happy about. I am very that it's been this last week. I was in Las Vegas last week to do some location scouting, and I had to start using my phone calendar again for the first time in a year. And I felt very out of shape. Oh, what else do I have to do today? Yeah, so I'm excited to get to that point again because I was used to functioning that way for so long. But even at that time too, I have 2 proteges that I mentor in the burlesque world. I have to talk to them weekly too. It's like, fuck, I have this at this time. Can we reschedule? Even with us too, is kind of finding the right time. But you're busy too, and that's a good thing.
yeah, I try to stay busy. Um,
That's a really great thing. I love that.
it's tough to do Justin Amarillo, but
It is
especially post COVID, or I guess during COVID. It's not post.
during COVID. Yeah,
Yeah,
but but even post, it's again
post
the build up of it. The build up is good. It's slow moving. Again, I and I know I get a lot of criticism because we're slow moving and how we're opening the bar. I'm like, I just kind of follow where some of the larger places are going in that aspect. I'm like, well, the Las Vegas Strip isn't deemed to really to be open and safe. I don't think I am. I look at stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's I guess because they're losing billions and billions. I'm not losing billions. So I don't think anybody's going to lose billions unless they have to.
is there
So
a, are there places in Vegas that are kind of just like shut down permanently? Is it?
yeah, in their local areas, yeah,
Yeah,
there's bars and restaurants, and a lot of local, just like anywhere.
yeah.
You know, being involved in the local community as opposed to, again, the strip though too. I didn't go on this trip at all actually, but I know there's no shows open on the strip right now, none.
Wow.
No, I'm lying. There's one theater
Mhm.
called it's not in any of the casinos though. It's called the Mosaic Theater. They have 2 shows going right now. They're open, but very limited capacity. No one's there. But none of the big circ shows
Mm.
are open right now. Their longest running was canceled. The one La Rev, which is the longest running circ show there, was highly they're not bringing it back because it's
Man, that's
yeah,
tough.
that one sucks. Those are people that had those jobs for many years, and that's not going to come back. And so you have this huge 2,000 capacity theater with all this special shit unused. It's just sitting there.
Are the
So,
performers out there moving out to other places?
well, I mean, some yes, some no. I know some performers actually. I have some friends. Let's see. I had a friend that was in Blue Man Group, and his husband was in
That's
another
awesome,
show, Friends the Musical. So when they lost their jobs at this time, and they had just bought a house out there in Las Vegas.
man.
And one of them became a go-go boy at a bar and teaches yoga via Zoom, and the other one was doing like I don't know what he was doing, like clinical trials for you know for COVID and all that to make money to make ends meet. And I'm like,
Ooh,
yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
well, he's still alive, so that's good.
He's still alive, yes, but but it's just stuff like that. Again, I know a lot of. I know I have some actor friends and whatnot that were working consistently that are getting unemployment still, but it's not the same. I mean, everyone would rather be working
I
when
definitely.
that's your only training or field of work. What what's open to a lot of actors and performers besides waiting jobs and stuff like that, and a lot of those got taken, and that industry went slow too because well, you can't really wait tables if no restaurants are open. I mean, and it's nothing. Yeah, a lot of performers and actors that really didn't have any other skills
Mhm.
because that's what they've been working on their entire lives. So
Yeah,
that's yeah. What do you do?
it's definitely tough. I mean, I know I've
Yeah.
seen like big productions will do like put people in like a bubble
Hmm.
where they can't leave for the whole filming of the
Right.
movie and everything. But yeah, I
Like
mean, live performing, I don't know if it's ever gonna be the same. Like if it's ever. I mean, hopefully.
I'm hoping so. It's one of those things. I hope so. Again, it's slow moving, and I'm about going forward. I want to. I I have to have that hope that it's going to be. I want to be able just to do again. I have that hope. I hope. I mean, maybe not exactly, but as close as possible. Just that. Yeah, I hope so.
Mhm.
I mean, we should. Yeah, it's just. I'm hoping. Hopefully, there'll be some semblance of normalcy.
It's gonna be hard to reprogram my brain because I walk into rooms, I'm like, there's way too many people in here. Like, no,
I understand that. I've been, like I said, just traveling this last week, doing things for the first time, going to an airport. I was like, oh fuck, okay,
oh yeah, yeah,
no, okay, it's fine. And then when I was location scouting, and we were location scouting in nightclubs. But I, mean, I was, when they weren't open, I was like, and then they would go into opening hours. Like, okay, I can't stay here. It's time to go. And I went to go see a burlesque show, and again, and I was in the Fremont downtown, and that got, yeah, it was a little too peoply for me. So it's still, you feel that it's taking some time to acclimate,
hmm
but I'm getting more comfortable as time goes by, if that makes sense. It does ease. I'm still, it's that weird thing. Even normally as a person in real life, I'm still like that, and I'm very standoffish naturally.
yeah,
Until I get to know somebody. Then when I get to know somebody, then you can't shut me the fuck up. But but I'm standoffish to begin with, and just like my space. I like to watch people, and before I'm like, okay,
yeah. I mean,
that's just how I am.
it's reasonable.
So so some of that aspect, I mean, for me, that's all this is still kind of natural anyway. I'm not a huggy dude anyway. I've never been that way. I'm like, hey, cool. See ya. But I do feel for those that do need that constant human contact too. Again, it's not saying my way is better. It works for me. To
Yeah,
each their own. I mean, and again, I hope there is some sense of normalcy. I know some people need that, and I know we all need it. We all need to just be able to do the shit we love to do and not have to worry. It'd be nice.
absolutely. And yeah, we've done one comedy show at the R, and that was great. And
Hey,
I'm excited for
it
more.
was it was fun.
And you have
I'm
a
ready.
oh sorry, what?
I'm ready for the next ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a show this month, right? Like next week,
We,
maybe.
we, we have a burlesque show on the 20th, 1 month after the comedy show. Yeah, we do.
Nice.
Oh, yay.
That's
Yeah,
exciting.
I'm excited about it. You know,
Yeah.
our girls will be masked at least for these shows. That's the difference. They will be, only because every burlesque show I see across the country is being done that way. So I'm like, we got to do it that way too. I have to think of those kind of things too, because I'm like, you know, if you don't do things a certain way, you get the outrage it causes, especially if you're known or you're in charge of shit.
Yeah.
So it's always trying to weigh that shit out. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you as a comedian, talking about this stuff, it's like, the whole aspect of cancel culture, especially versus even censorship for comedians. You're like, what the fuck can I say now? And I feel for that because it's just one of those, with a lot of comedians, I'm like, that comedy, I think, has been excessively attacked during this time.
Yeah, but then guys like Dave Chappelle went
Mhm.
up and he said everything you weren't supposed to say, and kind of just said, "We don't care," And I think that kind of just set a point for comedy.
Right.
He kind of saved it from going
Good.
too far
Well,
into the.
because it needed to be said. It's one of those things. It did need to be said. It's like, again, I understand where people are coming from. I believe in so many of these causes. And I'm like, but it's getting to that point too where we're attacking things we shouldn't attack. I'm like, really? Again, especially things like comedy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's comedy. You know, I mean, yeah, for me, it's hard to find that line. I'm like, if I'm listening to somebody that's funny, something like, if I let's say I tell a gay joke, and I've been accused of being homophobic, which I've been accused of being too. I'm like, really? Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. I'm like, because I told a gay joke and I'm a homophobe now. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I sure am. Those gays, they scare me stiff. I'm kidding.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Right? Or they just make it really hard on me sometimes, but fuck it, whatever. I'm kidding. But it's just shit like that. You're just like, and you can't even make a joke like that. I'm like anymore at all. It seems like, and again, I get the finance. I get the causes. I get that. I just, where do we stop where it's not just constantly looking for bad shit.
Yeah.
So
The issue is that people, I guess, who don't understand comedy or only like a certain type of comedy will see guys like make off-color jokes, and they'll
right,
they'll think he's dead serious, but it's like, no, he's trying to make people laugh. Like it's coming from a
exactly.
place of humor.
Well, I see it in those same ways, and like I said, in films, I'm gonna play a serial killer. Does that mean I condone serial killing? No,
Of course not.
I'm playing something. Comedians are playing a persona. And yeah, they're supposed to be funny.
Yeah, I do see
Yeah,
that. That's part of the movie industry as well, or film industry. Where
right,
like should a straight man be playing a gay man, or should
right,
a non-trans
right,
person be playing a trans person?
right. I totally get that. Again, I see both sides of the issue, and I do, but it doesn't take away from, let's say, Felicity Huffman won or was nominated for an Academy Award for playing trans. She's not trans. So does that take away from her performance?
No.
No, it doesn't. That's, again, it's, very often, again, you do want to be, inclusive. I get that. We try that here all the time, being inclusive of our burlesque community. My Lex Burlesque show, I reached out to everybody. Do I have a single person of color besides myself that's in it? No, because they weren't available.
Hmm.
And those are things that you like has nothing to do with, but other people can misinterpret that. They just weren't available during this show. Again, but I'm also wanting to make sure that I'm hiring people that are good anyway. They're there to do a show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the talent is the bottom line.
Yes, exactly. If you don't have that, then why are you doing it?
Hmm.
Again, but now saying this stuff, people are gonna, accuse me of like, no, I'm quite inclusive. I don't even feel the need to have to say that, but it's just, you feel like you have to be declarative these days. And I'm like, why don't you just look up and how they've been or whatever, or just,
Well, silence is violence. So.
yes, sometimes now, again, or when people don't agree on something, you can agree on 99% of everything, and then that 1% they don't agree, then everyone's mortal enemies because they disagreed. You can't even disagree anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm like, I'm gonna disagree with people, and I get heated with people that I love and closest. I'm just that guy, you know. But then when people, because they get heated, then they're mortal enemies. I'm like, no, you're being upset, or that's an emotion too. That should be validated as well, you know. But as men, we can't get heated because we're toxic. If we ever again, I mean, it's just, you know, again, I'm not from any aspect of, I believe in every cause and thing, and yes, there is toxic masculinity, but I also don't want to be deballed either.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
don't want to be told that because I'm male that all men, that we're just because my gender, that I'm a terrible person just because of it. Isn't that
Vaginas are
the
toxic too. So
isn't that doing the same thing that people say we've done? And that's why don't do that. Don't. I come from, again, marginalized communities and whatnot, but I also want to teach them, like, if I expect tolerance for me, I have to tolerate things that I may not understand either,
that's a great way
and
to look
and
at it.
agree to disagree and move on. Like, okay,
Yeah,
you know,
Facebook should have a little message that pops up like when you're in a heated argument. It's been like, hey, just so you know, nobody's gonna win this fight.
right?
So you don't have to
Yeah.
comment 75 times.
Well, and the thing is too, so you win a Facebook argument, and what was so, and so you won the Facebook argument. What do you get for it? You won a Facebook argument. What
Nobody's
was the
mind was changed.
what did you want to be the end result of winning that argument? Did you get that? Great. If you didn't, great. I don't know. Often now it's trying to look at things going, if you cause shit about this, what is the end result you're trying to get from that? What is the goal of this? I mean, yes, there are things, yes, you should fight for and be about whatever you're about. But if you're going to cause a commotion, make sure that you have an end result in mind of what that's going to accomplish. You
Yeah,
know, have a goal set.
definitely.
Again, instead of I'm just making noise. You know, and
Yeah,
I've been guilty of that. I ain't gonna lie. Of course I have. But now, again, I just want to enjoy the good things now, especially after this last year. This last year sucked.
yeah.
So now I'm in that point. I just want to enjoy getting to do cool stuff again. You know, every time I get a gig now, it feels good. Like I said, you guys said your first gig, it felt good to do it again.
Yeah,
You know, it
definitely.
makes you want to do it more. And I just want to enjoy that now. Yeah, yeah. You know, I wish more people came from that perspective with that. Enjoy the stuff we're getting to, enjoy it,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
spread that around. You know, yeah. I don't know.
yeah, they could all
Maybe
go away. And then
maybe that's my epiphany now. I'm just gonna enjoy the stuff I get to do as it's coming back, and be very happy about it because I don't want to be without it. I don't. I'm tired of being pissed off.
yeah, I mean, not having anything to do was not a good time. Like I didn't realize you realize like how much you value like work or just like
Hmm.
things, having tasks, and
Yeah.
how important that is. Like,
Even when you're bitching about them, when you're doing them, I mean, you don't have them to do, you're like, oh, fuck. And then I just ate and gained weight the entire time during that because of that. Like, oh man, I gained 20 pounds. I lost it already this last month and a half.
but
But I gained 20 pounds this last year because of sitting doing nothing during COVID. I'm like, but whoa.
I think a lot
And
of did. Did you do any type of special diet to get down?
uh, yeah, I tried keto. I just actually, what I just kind of did was I just lowered my carbs
Mm,
and stayed within a certain amount of calories. I did about 50% of the carbs that I would normally ingest because I had to think of the things that I eat a lot of that put on the weight. I'm like, you know, I like pasta and stuff like that. So there's where it all was coming. But it's kind of, I'm gonna be one of those. I feel so cliche because the whole rest of the world bought an air fryer and I did too. And if it weren't for that air fryer, I wouldn't have lost that weight. That thing rocks.
air fryers are awesome. Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate for air fryers. It's like my favorite.
Yeah.
This makes me really sad. It's my favorite kitchen appliance because I have a favorite kitchen appliance because I've had nothing else to do all year but be in the kitchen eating. So that helps having that.
Yeah, we
Yeah, it gave me.
have an air fryer in here, and it's a great time.
Yeah.
Made some wings in there recently that were really good.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And I was gonna ask you way back, but we kind of went another direction.
I drift. I apologize. I
No,
get.
you're good. You're good.
I can talk endlessly. I'm sorry.
What got you to Vegas? Did you just get a gig in Vegas and decide to like stay there?
Oh, Vegas. I mean, when I started, I used to just go to Vegas. Honestly, I was one of those people. Me and my partner here, we would just go to Vegas. Yeah, 4 or 5 times a year to go to Vegas and do the Vegas things you do,
Mhm.
and drink, gamble, do all those things. That I love Vegas just for those aspects. But when I started, it was it's gonna be 7 years ago. Actually, it is. When I started getting and gigging in Vegas. My dad died like 7 years ago. So it was one of those things where I was opening that back room at the bar and we're gonna do shows there. And it's just that kind of moment in time, one of those things that happens where you're like, um, I want to just do the things I used to do again. I'm like, it's just that time. I wonder if I can and just made that decision. So that's when kind of, well, maybe I'll perform. And I went to audition for a show in Vegas because was in Vegas and I got a call back.
Nice.
And I didn't get the role, but that's all right. And
That's
it was
awesome.
that first show on the Strip. That was for Rock of Ages. And then, but within a year's time, within that time, I got the gig as the choreographer to re-choreograph the show Evil Dead the musical at Planet Hollywood. I knew the director and met with him and his wife at lunch one day, and we were just there. I was like, so I watched the show. I'm like, I can re-choreograph that show. I'm like, because just to let you know, that choreography that's in it is stolen. It was stolen choreography, and I'm watching
Really?
going, I've seen this choreography. Why is this in this show? And telling him, just so you know. But that show is a crazy show. It started off as a community theater show off the Strip that made it to the Strip. So they had never changed the choreography from when they had it as as a non-professional show. So I remember telling him I can re-choreograph. He goes, and they hired me that day, and I came back a month later, and I had 3.5 weeks to redo the entire show, re-choreograph it, rehearse with the actors while it was still playing. So you would just change things during its run.
That's
Yeah.
intense.
So
Dancing. Was there a dance with a chainsaw arm?
yep, there was an Ash with a chainsaw arm,
Right?
and
I
yeah,
want to watch that.
Evil Dead the musical. Yeah, it's campy, it's cheesy, it's funny, it's
Yeah.
funny as shit. It's vulgar. So yeah. And then it was even more vulgar because we had stand-up comedians. That's where I met the stand-up comedians in the show. There was like these bits before. It was like I'm like, and again, the final scene they get to improvise whatever character they were in, but they could pick any other character. And some of the creations from our but we were getting gosh, because that show does allow for it. It does allow for those moments. It's set up for that to break the fourth wall and yeah.
That's,
Yeah, you have to see it again. It's a stand-up comedian's dream because it does allow for it. And but so that's just started there and then I got that gig and as a choreographer and I was going back about once a month just to give notes, blah blah blah. And just decided I'm like, well, I should spend more time out here. If I'm going to do anything, I have to be here besides a few days every month. And then I auditioned for another show, off the Strip at the Onyx Theater, which doesn't exist anymore, and I got the lead. And then from there, I was doing my work at Evil Dead and did the show in the Onyx and just kind of mixing with their crowd. And when I was in that show, the first film I was in, my executive producer from Evil Dead was an executive. They needed somebody to read at their reading before they were going to film, and I filled in for somebody that was missing, and they put me in the film as a minor character, and then I was Eric Roberts' body double. It was just by chance, and that's how I got involved in film, just randomly by chance. Yeah, I'll read, and sure, and yeah, it was never something I had planned on. And it's during that time too, came up with the Pistol Holiday persona and started getting booked out there. So it just kind of all slow built until about last year. Up to last year, I was spending about half the time there and half the time here. Sporadically, never 6 months straight through. So it just worked out that way. And I still have an apartment out there right now still.
That's awesome. So how long did you live in New York? And so you went from Amarillo to New York, and
I
then
did.
you moved back.
I went Amarillo to New York City, lived there for about 3 years. From New York, I went back to El Paso, and got my first job working in a bar. That's funny. First time ever working in a bar. Then went back to New York for about a year, and I was gigging and working as a cocktailer in bars and learned how to bartend during that time. Went to San Francisco from there,
Oh wow. Okay.
and I was only in San Francisco for a year. Then back to El Paso, you know, for about a few years, a couple of years. Again, that's going to take me till right before I turned 30, almost 30, so 28, 29. And came back and finished my degree and did all those things and danced more because during that time when I was back and forth at bars, I wasn't dancing as much anymore. And then came back to finish my degree, and yeah, it just kind of slow built. Then
Nice.
yeah,
What made you come back to Amarillo? Because it seems like you've lived in
the training.
a lot of great
I knew
places.
the training. Those were the people that I trained with. I knew it would get me back into the shape I wanted to be again. I'm almost that's the time I'm like, oh, I was about to, you get those scared. What am I going to do with the rest of my lives type things, and you know, I didn't want to just do ballet companies anymore, but I did want to have that strict training, and the training here was what brought me back here, and I knew I could get in. I knew I could do the show. And like I said, Texas was again one of those shows too. You get in shape really, really fast. And I knew I needed the discipline because I was still in those very hellion modes. I couldn't keep a dime in my pocket to save my life no matter where I was. I mean, I was poor a living. I guess I was performing and doing all the things, but it was in the aspect of I was very irresponsible. So I had nothing to show for it at that time. So it's just again nothing. I did all those things, but I mean, it just was living, yeah. But getting that discipline, and again, it's a little bit different when you're going into your 30s. Again, you start, more so in your 40s. But yeah, anyway, I was just done with my 20s of going. I did everything I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm trying all the things I'm supposed to be trying. Because I mean, I tried everything. I tried every drug, tried everything. I lived my 20s while I was doing all that. I'm lucky to be alive, which is good. I mean, but you learn a lot during that time. So I did need to come back here for that because I would have been a mess. I would have gone down. It could have gone downhill really, really fast, and it was looking like it was going to. I was the balance of I was getting to do those things, but it was less because I was partying and doing way too much too at that time.
This was
So I had to slow myself down and coming here, even though it was still available here in those last days coming back to finish that degree. So even my last couple of years before finishing my degree here, I mean, or a haze, big old haze. I'm like, ooh. So yeah, because it was readily available here too. So
yeah.
again, I always tell people I didn't quit doing drugs because I hated them. I quit them because I liked them way too much,
Oh.
and that was the problem. So that's why I just smoke pot now.
That's good. It becomes a problem fast. So,
Right.
and it's in
So again,
just about every bar, bathroom I've been in.
right.
Yeah, Amarillo's
Well,
Amarillo likes cocaine. Is
yeah. Oh, that was my thing too. I'm like, gosh, I'm like, yeah, being a bar owner, people don't think you know. I'm like, we all know what's going on. My thing is this. I'm like, I did all that shit. I'm like, just don't be sloppy. Everybody doesn't need to know what you're doing. I'm like, go to your car, go to this. Just, if you don't, yeah. I'm like, don't make it where we're there. Yeah, don't make it hard on us running a business because, like, we're not naive. We're in the bar business. We know these things. And again, I still get people, again, I'm always come off as so stringent and so to everybody. Everyone's like, and then there's other people that will automatically assume a camaraderie because of whatever. And I'm like, I get that. It's funny in the film industry because I'm a bar owner. They see all these random drunk cams and stuff I'll do from here back in the day. they think I'm this huge partier. And I mean, I've been offered lots of drugs on sets. I'm like, I don't really do that. I'm like, I know it may seem like and I'm like, no judgment, because I mean, for me, there is no judgment, because again, I've done a lot of them. I did them all. Oh, what? I don't have time. But I'm like, hi. I'm like, and I think it's a mistyle anyway. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's one thing. Amarillo, definitely. It's one of those. I mean, I guess I haven't done cocaine in, yikes, it's going to be 17, 18 years.
Oh, that's good.
But I know I could find it.
Yeah,
I mean, you never not know. That's my thing. You always know. You're like, come on. But again, to each their, I think, the penalties for drug use are ridiculous anyway. So I do. I'm like, I do. I believe in the decriminalization. And that, for me, I come from my dad was, all my family was law enforcement. So no wonder, yeah, that
I've
sucked.
heard that.
That sucked growing up. My dad was DEA, but my dad knew I was a stoner.
Mhm.
Then my dad was DEA. Yeah, it's weird. All my family is law enforcement.
What was
So you have this
his view on it as far as
on what
regulation and use of
I
marijuana?
mean, I don't know. I didn't get close to my dad probably till like the last 2 years he was alive, because that we were very adversarial growing up. Me growing up was very, he's a cop, and he was very, you know,
Yeah.
he was one of those really dictatorial cops and super cop type people, because he was a delinquent, so he didn't trust anybody. My dad was a juvenile delinquent who became a cop, so he didn't trust anybody. So he's, I know what shit you're gonna do. He was a hard ass. He was, I unfortunately, I think I inherited some of that.
Yeah. You think you got
But
the positive discipline?
I want to do better than he did. I mean, yeah, I have that positive discipline, because he was hard. We got along later in his last couple of years he was alive. And even at that too, I mean, if I would have talked about doing pot when I was young, oh, it would have been, yeah, it would have been knocked down, drag out. But later on in life, he came down here, I had surgery. And there's the people before they're putting you on stage. So when's the last time you drank? Well, when's the last time you smoked pot? Yesterday. And my dad was in the room, and I just looked over at him, and I still had that apprehensive, oh shit, my dad's here. And I looked at him, and he just had this big old grin, and it's like, I was like, so by that, I knew it was cool. But it wasn't always that way. Again, it was not fun growing up with that, because he was very strict. So, but it worked out later, I guess. So.
And so you went from El Paso to Amarillo for your first
I
professional
did
gig.
for Texas.
Were there not a lot of gigs in El Paso at that time, or were you just trying to get away from home?
I never wanted to live in El Paso in the first place. Like, just one of those people. I knew I was not going to live there. So, like I said, when I got that gig, I was auditioning for schools in college. I was gonna do those things. I was going to college to get away. I already had some college already, and I had offers to go elsewhere. But again, my parents didn't want me to go and weren't gonna pay for it, or stuff like that. Again, I get it. But so I was gonna find my own way out. So I was auditioning for universities, and I auditioned for that show Texas in San Antonio. But I also, when I was here and I did it, they also offered where you could stay here and go to school. So I mean, again, at that time, I was thinking, you go to school and you get a degree and do those things. And I never thought I was going to be a professional performer until I came here.
Did your family support it as far as
I
performing?
mean, it's not their thing. It
Yeah,
wasn't really their thing. They didn't not support it, but not really. Again, I don't, honestly, I haven't had a family member, or parents. I was one of those kids that I don't want to know sad story. None of my parents have seen me perform since, my dad can't now. He's dead.
Mhm.
My mother, since 1992,
Oh wow, it's been a long
before I
time.
left. She came to see Texas that one summer. That was it.
Did she like it?
Yeah, it's fine. She liked it. It's just not their thing. Again,
Okay.
all my professional career, no, they never saw me perform live or anything like that. I mean, it is what it is. I think when you're younger, you get like you want that, but I think as through time, I mean, you just kind of, I do this because that's what I want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
That's, yeah. I think as you get older, you don't need that. My family approval. My family didn't love me. No, I'm like, if I use that to hold my shit back, no, hell no. I was like, it gave me more incentive. Again, I came here to get away, got my degree, paid for it, or got it paid for myself through programs and all that. And that was the thing too, came back to because I knew I would get on scholarship dancing so I could finish my degree too. So that's another reason I came back here too, because I knew I could get that done.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, so I mean, I'm not painting them out. This just wasn't their thing. It's just a whole, yeah. Like I said, my family, my parents grew up in El Paso, stayed there. My brother stayed there, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was never going to stay there. I never thought I was going to live in Amarillo, Texas, though, either. It's the smallest place I've ever lived. But I do like living in Amarillo. I like being able to come home, but I also like that I can get away whenever I want to as well.
Yeah, that's
I think
awesome.
I like living in a very conservative part of the world that where 99, I mean, the majority, I won't even say 90, have very completely different belief systems than I do, that many politics that I completely agree with. To prosper and still be myself, to me, I think is important, because I think there's people everywhere that are in places where there's not a lot of people like them.
Yeah.
And again, here is one of those places. And if you can do well here with that kind of adversity, or things that are just things, that complexity of being so different, then it can be done. Again, yeah, I mean, it's Amarillo's tough in those aspects. I get how people that are born and raised here that want to get away, because there's things I like about it, but probably because I wasn't born and raised here. There's things I like about it. I would live here before I live in El Paso. That's where it's weird. I wouldn't, yeah. And because my family's not there, not here either.
Amarillo,
But
yeah, I was gonna say, when you first came here, was it hard to just kind of be like open or different in Amarillo?
yes, it was.
I feel like
It
it's
was
probably
in
changed quite a
'92.
bit since.
Yeah, it's changed some. Again, I could see it was, again, it's a different time to look back then in '92. I've never had any issues just being myself anyways, because I was never bullied or anything. I wasn't. Um, and I've always been very headstrong about who I am and whatnot. Even then, coming to Amarillo, Texas, yes, sometimes I didn't have a lot of friends because of it. But I mean, but I did. I still did. Again, I've always been, you know, yeah. But I mean, it was not, you know, again, it's challenging. Yeah. I mean, just like anything is hard is challenging. I mean, what do you do when you're dealt that? You make the best of it that you can without feeling like you're compromising who you are.
Yeah,
Do you find a way?
absolutely.
Because
What
that's hard here.
definitely? What made you decide to open the bar?
I've worked in bars forever, so I mean, this is one of those things I knew we could do. Kirby, my partner, used to own Rumors way back in the day, and even getting in with this bar and whatnot, having my own say so and input, and opening R&R was yeah, it's because it's just kind of a crapshoot going from our old Rumors crowd and just wanting something new, and got it because we could buy the building. And yeah, I mean,
That's awesome.
I've always worked in the bar business, so I know the bar business. I consider myself, as I tell a lot of friends, I'm not old bar trash, and I wear that moniker proudly. I'll always go to bars and whatnot. I like bars. I used to go to bars when I lived in big cities because I was there by myself without family. Christmas Eve in bars. That's why we're always open Christmas Eve, because I remember being that person. Sometimes that's the only place that some people have to go,
Mhm.
to find again. And they get such a bad rap or whatever. Some of my best times have been in bars. Yeah, they have been. And yeah, I'm that old school bar trash. I am. I've seen a lot, seen it all, and I still love them. I'm like, and again, I'm not even a huge drinker. I've never been a huge drinker. I drink, but yeah, it's just getting into it. How I've always been asked advice on what would I suggest to somebody that's opening a bar, to succeed? I'm like, well, open somewhere that you would want to go to, even if it wasn't yours. I'm like, that's all it is for me. That's how we did it. There's like, I would want to go to R&R if I didn't own R&R.
Yeah,
That's
that's a bad sign if you don't like your own shit,
right. Or if you're having to cater to whatever is around. I can see that just because, well, this will sell well, this will do. I'm like, I get that. I like bars, so I'm going to go to a bar I like. And that's really all it is. I just want to go to a bar where I like, and I'm going to like the people, for the most part. You're never going to like everybody.
That's true.
You're never going to, unfortunately. But you guys at least want to go somewhere where you at least like, some of the people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I see like a majority of the dive bars in Amarillo are mostly like country, cowboy, western themed. And,
right.
Yeah, R&R. It's kind of like a unique little spot. That and Leftwoods.
Yeah, Leftwoods too.
Kind of have your own vibe separate from what the majority would be or would want. And it's great. It's really unique, and I really like the layout of the building. The first time we did a show there, this like random guy walked up to me and he's like, this used to be a Pizza Hut, right? And I was like, no, I didn't know. I didn't. Yeah, a girl got murdered here, right here. And he was like, right at the spot I'm standing. And I was like, oh, okay. I had no idea.
Again, I'm like, I'll say this on the air. We actually used to have a night that we would do. We know the date, kind of commemorating it, and I always said, if we ever did that, it was ever offensive to any family members or ever got anything, that we would cancel doing it. And we finally did, because I was like, we used to have this big old party. I was like, and I could see where some would think that's disrespectful. I saw it from that aspect of, you go to different cities and they have ghost tours and whatnot with real events. So, approaching, we used to we'd serve pizza on that night and kind of do a little toast to the people that died. But, so some can view that in bad taste. I've gotten both sides of that. It's just one of those. I never meant it to be disrespectful ever. And I always, I say I'm putting my own shit out there, but it's out there. But until I heard from an actual family member and it bothered them, we did stop doing it. I, completely sympathize. I would never want to make somebody, go through the death of a family member again. And we weren't celebrating her death. It was never our intention. But yeah, so yes, it was an actual murder site.
That's crazy. Was it a Pizza Hut like before you purchased it? Was it just?
It was a Pizza Hut in the 70s. And you can tell by if you look at the building and the shape, those old 70s Pizza Hut buildings.
Yeah.
We actually have articles from when that happened. We actually do have those articles, newspaper articles of that event in the bar when it happened. And then other times it was a bridge club. It was a lesbian bar. And then its last incarnation before R&R was a biker bar called Grizzly, which I used to go to in my last years in college because I would go and get my drugs there. Yeah, that at the Grizzly bar. And in Leftwoods used to be a karaoke bar called Shots. I had roommates in college that were door people at Shots and the karaoke DJs at Shots. So the Leftwoods used to be Shots bar back in the day.
Nice.
During that time when Grizzly and Shots were in the neighborhood together. So R&R was a Grizzly bar, biker bar, dingy, great biker bar.
That's interesting. Yeah, I thought that guy was messing with me when I first heard that.
It is an actual.
What was the name of the pizza night? Did it have like a fun, like murder Wednesday?
We used to call it Pizza Murder and Mayhem.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's Pizza Murder Mayhem. Yeah, just again, we did it for years, and maybe it was never from a place to be disrespectful. But I can, I guess I had to put myself in the position of a family member that, we don't think of those things, I guess. But again, I was coming at it from that aspect. Ew, this has happened here. It's like ghost hunters and stuff like that. Yeah. You go to macabre sites, and
it's got some historical importance.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to ignore the history of it. We're just not going to have a party on that night. I get it. That's fine. I can sympathize with that. I can get it. I can say I was wrong to do a party. I can say that. I know we have to be everyone out there. We have to be accountable for the things we've done. I had a party. That's what it was. We don't do it anymore. There we
Yeah,
go.
that's fair.
Yeah.
So they recently dropped the mask mandate in Texas.
Right.
I'm assuming, you, 806, Jason over there, are
Right.
keep the mask mandate in force.
We are.
Do you foresee a period where you stop, or are you just waiting to see
Yes.
kind of how the whole country reacts?
Well, I'm kind of going, like I said, and it's hard to follow. Some with the whole country, yes, I do see a time when masks won't be necessary, even for for the customers. I think our staff will be the last ones to take them off. Just kind of following this, CDC, more people getting to a point where it's not spreading around as much. Again, we are keeping them. I guess just again, do we like to wear them? No. Who the fuck likes to wear these masks? I don't like to wear it. But I mean, but just out of caution, just again, I have the vaccine and I'm still being cautious around other people. Just I see it again. I wish they would do it in the way that we give like goal points. If we reach this like
Yeah.
consistently with this many deaths or whatever, then they can be pulled back. And there was some more uniformity of that would make sense. Where they're like, okay, we're at this point, we're going in the right direction, and that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's as a business owner, you get in those weird positions because I've been so strong with masking and following the guidelines. Even, just to even be able to get to be open when other businesses got to be open and I didn't. I was like, I follow that shit, and I'm closed down. It sucked, and that sucks. Going, I thought bars. It was very unfair to bars as opposed to restaurants. I'm like, it's that we have to put in an air fryer and a microwave oven to serve food so we could be open. How fucking stupid was that?
That's
But I mean, but right, stuff like that, and so I get that aspect of it, but yeah, I mean, keeping I just wish there was more, things in sight of when we can change stuff. We're gonna keep it, I guess, for now we are out of safety and until there's less of the spread. Seems like we're going in the right direction. I hope it stays that way. Again, I do see a lot of places, even out and about, where there's a lot more people without them, but there's still a lot of people that are still wearing them. It's kind of, I mean, not that much different than it's been in the past. I've seen some of your posts that most of Amarillo, it's not going to make much of a difference with the mask, but a lot of people were following it.
Yeah, I mean, there's like that cult-like mentality of like, this mask
Right.
will kill me if I wear it for more than 2 minutes. I'm gonna suffocate.
Right. Right. And again, we're keeping it. It's that choice of places, we do people that do come to the bar because we do it too now. That a lot of people that from way back in the day that haven't been out that are back out because we do it. No, I don't want to keep doing it forever. I don't want to serve food forever there either. I'm like, we're a bar. I want to be that dive bar going, yeah. But for now, yes, we're going to do it. I'm going to follow other bigger cities and guidelines and just watch where it's at here. And yeah.
Have you seen the, I forgot his name, the burrito guy?
Yeah, Jeff.
Is he still going around?
No, I wonder, I don't think, can he now? Because all the bars having to serve food?
That's what I've been wondering. Jeff the burrito
Yeah.
guy.
We don't see him at all. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, can he now? That again, see, all that killed the burrito guy's business because that's where he was making his money.
I miss seeing that dude.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't seen him since. No, we don't see him. He doesn't go to again. Bars were closed, and then when bars got to open early, it's because they were serving food. I mean, maybe he should have sold the burritos to some of the bars, and whatever, and then they sell it for profit again. It's prepared, and I don't know. Who knows? But no, I have not seen the burrito guy. I wonder. COVID changed. See, COVID unemployed the burrito guy.
I know.
Fuckers.
I hope he comes back. He's such a nice guy.
He was. I liked him.
Yeah, a lot of fun. We go
Right. I mean,
3 bars in one night and see him at all 3 bars.
I mean, and whatever they were, 2 for $5 is what it was, or 3 for 5.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Tamales too sometimes.
Yeah, tamales too.
Shout out Jeff.
No, I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah.
So, so you're already booking events. You're gonna keep the
Hmm.
masks on. Um,
Yeah.
is that difficult when it comes to burlesque for the social distancing aspect of it? Because I do see like a lot of performers like to go into the crowd. They like to get involved and get the reaction.
I get the audience with the girls already asking me about the shows. Like, can we come through the audience? Can we do things? So I'm just kind of basing it where I've seen it everywhere else. Again, where like I know it's some places in Colorado Springs, we do it on a stage. There, we're not allowed to get off the stage and interact with the audience. I mean, they can come up and put their tips in a jar that's up there. But so right now, I'm not letting the girls do that yet. Again, they have to enter or off stage. Like, not, no audience touching kind of
Gotcha.
situation just for now, just because that's how I've seen it.
Mhm.
I mean, just for now, again, unless it's their significant other or somebody that's their bubble. I mean, I can ask them that, but we're not doing any entry from the audience
That's
right
fair.
now.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how that worked with burlesque because it seems
Right.
like it's a big kind of
Right. And they're performing masks too, because that's everywhere else is performing masks right now too. So
that's fun.
yeah, hopefully, again, that's one of those things. I hope that goes away too. Again, it's not, because
Yeah.
you're missing one of your biggest tools, your face, to perform.
Oh, something I forgot to talk about earlier. You are an actor and a director. So
Uh-huh.
I watched your 2 interviews, or you did 3 interviews with
Yeah, with Ninon. Yeah.
Enon.
I'm
Okay,
actually about to do it with her in a week.
nice.
Mhm.
So what were there was a movie you did, sorry, I gotta go back and look.
That's all right.
So what movies did you direct? Or were there
Well, like I said, right now, the very first film I was the director in was the one it's going to be premiered next month in Las Vegas. It's called Ring of Desire. Um, so that's the first film I directed. I directed it last year in February before the world went to hell, before COVID, right before we filmed and finished all principal photography.
perfect
And
timing?
we did all our, so that actually, you're getting a scoop because I've been given permission. I can do these in interviews. That Ring of Desire is going to have its Las Vegas screening and premiere in a month, where we're going to announce that we were picked up for distribution. So
Awesome.
Ring Desire did get picked up for distribution and will be released late August and possibly limited theaters and on streaming platforms for sure. So
That's cool.
we did get picked up.
And you've acted in several films. Like, how
Mhm.
many films have you done? Is it like just a ton? Too many to name?
No. Again, I have friends that are in a whole bunch. I just started just a few years ago, and we go like I go to my IMDb. I'm like, sometimes you're in a film, and there's one film that I'm in it, and I'm listed as a character, and I'm in it. I have one line in the whole film, and I die in the first 15 minutes. You do a lot of that when you're first going in.
Yeah, yeah.
You do a lot of really terrible ones. I mean, they're not terrible. They're independent. They all have validity. But you're watching it, oh my gosh! But um, like there's one I did, a bus party to hell, and that one is that's the one I'm like, I have one line in the entire film, and you don't even get to see me say it. You hear it. I'm like, that's my line. I didn't even get the footage of me saying it, and I die in the first 15 minutes,
You
and
just scared off the distance.
you hear it in the distance. It's in a bus of people partying, and I'm one of the partiers in the bus, and there's this couple that's doing it in the bus bathroom, and we're all egging them on in there. And my one line in Bus Party to Hell is, "Pop that pussy."
Hey, that's a good phrase. I like that.
And you hear it, but you don't get to see me say my one line in
Pop
this
that.
entire film, "Pop that pussy," and you didn't even see me saying it.
One of
And
my
then a lot of
favorite.
people got really cool deaths. I just get tackled and bludgeoned on the ground. And I'm like, that's it. That's my death.
Because are these films? Can you find any of these on like Amazon or anything like that?
Amazon, yes, Amazon. You can find Bus Party to Hell. You can find it. You can also find the Immortal Wars 1 and 2 are on Amazon as well. There's a few of them that are unreleased right now. Attack of the Unknown. I just did a couple of years ago in LA with Robert Lasardo and Richard Grieco. I mean, prison. I have lines with Robert Sturdy. I have like 6 lines in that film, and that's on Amazon too. Again, you do a lot of small parts and stuff first, So, and in random films, like another one coming out next year. I'm just a zombie, but I have a really cool zombie death in Bridge of the Doomed. I
Nice.
die on top of an SUV, get my head splattered, blown off. So it's cool.
What's been
See,
your favorite role to do?
in film, right now, there's another one, and this film's not out yet for streaming. It should be this year, called Space Captain and Callista. I play a dude with on the spectrum, and
Yeah.
I'm just a supporting character. The main characters, and you know, I don't think I've had my best role yet. I think I'm looking forward to the next one where I'm that serial killer. But again, I think
That's awesome.
favorite right now, yeah, is probably that one on Space Captain and Callista. We had Gil Gerard, Buck Rogers was in that movie with us.
Nice. And that one hasn't been released yet.
Not yet. No, that should be released this fall.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how do you balance, everything from, running a bar, auditioning, acting, directing, dancing?
You get as much sleep as possible. Yeah, that's again. I'm free. Hold on, I got another message. I apologize. There we go. But you just again try to get as sleep in when you can. Yeah, that's it. Sleep, sleep, sleep. I go and when I gig, and I don't stay out late. I stay out late and drink more when I'm working here.
That's probably
when I'm elsewhere, when I'm working and doing gigs and bars, I usually done after my performance. Because so I just get sleep. That's my best advice to people. Sleep. Take naps when you can. I take a nap. Again, if I were I'd be sleeping all the time.
And I forgot the title of the movie you said you directed. That one's out as well. Or
Which
is
one?
that
The type of movies?
the movie you said you directed one movie, right?
Yes, I've directed one, and I've already been given my second one to direct this fall.
And that one is premiering next month.
Next month in Las Vegas, Ring of Desire. It's a romantic thriller.
That's exciting. So how was the transition from acting to directing?
I'd rather direct anyway. It was natural. Again, I didn't think I'd direct film this quickly, but I mean, I've been directing, theater and lots of stuff for many years. So it's a lot of work in film. All the other things too, and putting together your teams and everything. But yeah, I liked the transition. I feel better on the other side of the camera as opposed to in front of it anytime. That's just even as a producer in burlesque. I'd rather produce the shows. I don't perform even here at home that much either. Just when I do, it's like, okay, just again, I've done my, you're performing all the time, and it was great, but I'm tired. I'm, so half of it too is focusing on your task at hand, going and pre-planning. Again, I try to pre-plan at least 2 to 3 months ahead of what we're doing. Again, even when I'm booking gigs and our events that we're bringing in, I always get with you guys. I'm like, okay, let's do this one. Let's give a couple months in, doing stuff like that, getting things set so it's something you don't have to worry about, week by week or something like that. You just get it. A lot of pre-planning.
Awesome.
Helps a lot. Sleep and pre-planning.
How long does it take during the whole process of directing the film from beginning to end? Is that like over a year, 6 months?
Ring of Desire. Let's see, a 9-day shoot, which is fast for a shoot. I am fast when I'm shooting, but we finished the complete last version was done in October. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 8 months it took us to finish Ring of Desire.
Nice.
Which is fast. So usually they're about a year to a year and a half for a film. We did it in 8. We were looking at that time to premiere it in December of 2020, but that didn't happen, obviously. So because of that, we were trying to, I was given deadlines by producers and people that I make sure I meet. That's my thing is I think I'm hired because I do meet the deadlines. If I'm told what I need to get done, and that's always my thing. Tell me when, what do we need? Let's get it done. So that's, if anything, I'm good about time, getting things done as I'm asked to do them.
That's awesome. And so now
That
you
could be the only reason they like me. They may not even think I'm good. They may think I suck. They're just like, but he get the shit done on time. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean
I
that's
hope they think I'm good. Well, this first one, it's the test. It's the final test. You know, the first one comes out in a month, so it's a little nerve wracking because then going into distribution is like it's the test. Is will this film make its money back? What it costs? So, it's the yeah, and now people get to make judgment on what I made, and some people will hate it or like. I don't know. It's
yeah,
that it's about to be out there. I can't change anything about it, so. I am prepared to take any questions about it when it comes on. Even if people hate it, I'll take the questions. I hope they don't hate it, but
yeah,
you never know.
man. There's too many opinions. So
Yeah, and everyone's entitled to them. I'm like, okay, I mean, I'm sure if there's something in it I've done wrong in somebody's eyes, I'm sure. I mean, yeah, it's a film.
yeah, that's cool. And you want to keep directing going forward, correct?
Yeah, I do. I got my next film ready that I'm directing. That's why I was in Vegas this last week. I was location scouting for my next film, and the next one is a horror film. So I've never directed a horror. So
That's awesome.
I'm hoping after this one I get to pick a script. That would be nice. I hope I prove myself enough. But it's the same producer. We're renegotiate. Can I pick a script that I would like to do? Because I haven't gotten to do that yet. I'm given a script and then I work with the writers as a director to make it fit what I would like to do with it. But I
Oh,
would
I
like to
see.
find
Okay.
a script. Yeah, they send them in. We don't, and we just things like that doesn't make sense. I do at least go through the script to. I have to believe in it to make sure it's directable for me, or else I don't think I'd be a good director. I don't think I can't you know fake it. There has to be a story. It has to be good storytelling. There has to be a beginning and middle. There has to be a reason for those characters to be there. So
Sure.
often because you see a lot of films, you're like, why the fuck are these people there? Why five people that, yeah, you're like, there's supposed to be five friends, and you don't believe they're friends in real life because you can tell
Yeah.
on screen. You're like, this is fucking five random people. They liked her because she had big tits and we get to see her tits. Cool. That's fine too. If that's the film you're directing. Again, it's but
Yeah. Is
I
it
have to
hard
find.
to be overly critical since you are
Ye-
in that world?
yes, it's good though. I like being critical. Again, it's also a very fragile world, and that's why again doing it and having mine out next month. I'm like, okay, I'm out for any critiques and I will answer any questions because I know some that don't. Some you can't. Yeah, some that can't take it at all, and that's sad. You know, I want to get better. I like again, even when I've been an actor, I'm like, I like notes from the director. I like people to tell me what I'm not doing right or what could be better.
Yeah.
So I go to class. I don't want to suck. So
Yeah, that's great. I mean,
yeah, I don't dish out what I can't take is what it is.
I,
I'm critical, but I can take the critical too. I want people to be critical of my work. I want to be better at it every time.
I forgot whose quote it was, but it's like an old quote, and it was like the first draft is always shit. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So like it always gets better after the
Mm-hmm.
first one, So that's exciting. Do you have a specific genre you want to stick to as far as directing? You just kind of open to.
I'm open to anything. I would like sci-fi, but I would like a drama. I would like a really good drama. I don't know about what, but I would like a good, strong drama. Just so I think I could do it and do it artistically and cool. I don't know, just giving the painting my own brush strokes on something, just stylistically. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I just want to be able to have that mark where, hey, this guy could do this and have a variety, not pigeonhole into one thing, but I'm hoping again each thing I'm curve that I'm given that I do well. I'm hoping, or
Yeah,
that's the job, that's the ambition that's the intention. I want to do good and better work each time.
definitely. That's awesome. And if you are, ever needing like a role of like a tall biracial male,
All right.
I'll send you headshots.
I'll invite you to our next Zoom for Death Club. Again, we do take video submissions for that one as well, for Death Club. So you never know. That's going to happen in June. There's a role you'd fit. I know there is.
Cool.
So
I've never practiced, but it sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We're gonna do another Zoom soon with handpicked people to. Yeah, I'll invite you to that one.
Cool. I'm in.
Just so you can read and get familiar, because through those Zooms, that's where I do my script notes and corrections for where it's at. So it's never the final version of it until we send it out to the hired actors.
That's awesome. I think I got all the information I wanted.
Awesome.
I
could talk a lot. I apologize, and I go everywhere. You're like, what the fuck were we talking? So I apologize for that.
Oh no, that's
like, see what happens when you get me talking. I don't talk a lot in public, but when you get me on here,
I've done a lot of episodes, and it usually goes off the rails. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah, this is normal.
Most podcasts do. That's why I kind of like them.
Yeah, they're fun.
They are fun. I like that. There's lots of podcasts now. I do. They're fun. All right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. I am going to
ask
a couple of questions.
Okay. Let's see what I have.
All right. If you can make everyone in the world do something for 30 days, everyone in the world has to do it, no matter what it is. What would it be?
Oh, God. Something that everyone in the world had to do for 30 days.
Yes.
Be kind to each other for 30 days. Be kind. I can take that same advice too. So be kind for 30 days.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
That would be easy.
Well, yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. I'm guilty of that too. So a lot. So be kind for 30 days. I could take that advice as well.
Right. If you could take a time machine at any point in your life and give yourself advice, what would you tell yourself, and what age would you go to?
Oh, crap. Yikes. 21. 21 guy. It's going to get better. It's going to get better than this. And this is, yeah, it's going to get better. This is a good start. And just, enjoy it. Don't take it so seriously. But because I'll be like, I got serious later in life, but in your 20s, you take things really seriously that aren't, and you're like, and that's why they're so. Yeah, but that's it. I know that's not real groundbreaking. I apologize. I know it's like very cliche. Oh, and I want world peace and everyone to wear sweaters and stuff like that. No, I don't know. I know none of this is groundbreaking, and that just went.
I haven't broken any grounds yet,
so yeah, I know it's so simple and basic. It's just it gets better. Again, I can honestly say that I had a blast in my 20s, a great time. Each decade, though, I've enjoyed more than the last. My 40s, I've enjoyed more than my 30s, and 30s and then my 20s. So again, I'll be 50 in a couple of years, a year and a half. So I'm hoping 50s are even more exciting. So
than 40s. 49?
I'm 40. I'll be 49 in a few months.
Hey, you look great for 49. I thought you were like maybe 40, 41, around there.
Awesome. Well, thanks.
Doing well. Keep exfoliating, as they say.
Yeah, I just get like regular butter and just, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry if there wasn't more exciting about the random questions. I'm like, come on. Oh, dang it.
I got two more.
Okay.
Can you remember a time in your life that you laughed the hardest? Like just one moment where you laughed uncontrollably, fell on the ground.
Yeah, that I've just laughed uncontrollably. There's several in my life, again, but yeah, I can remember it. I don't think I'm gonna share it, but I can remember a really good one. It's very personal. but it was, yeah. Woo, yeah, no, I'm not going to share that one, but yeah, I definitely can remember. That just came in there. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Woof.
it made you laugh out loud, so it must have been
Yeah,
a good one.
time, circumstances. Yeah, it was a great laugh. It was great. It still is.
All
It's one
right.
of those twos you're always going to bring up with that person, like, where you both know. Yeah, totally.
Too good to share.
Yeah.
Okay, two more questions. What do you think happens when you die?
Oh, nice. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I, I I can just say I really don't know what happens when we die. Again, I'm not religious. I don't. That's not my path. I don't know. We maybe our stream of conscious does something. I don't know. Is it just like that? I don't have the answer to that. Again, as that makes me that very classic atheist, the lack of belief in deity or any. I don't know, and that's what I go to school. I don't know the answers to that.
I believe that's agnostic. I don't know. I don't know how it
I'm
works.
not maybe right. I have no idea. Like, I'm like sure, but I have no idea what happens to us. I don't.
All right.
I don't. I know it sucks for the living when somebody dies.
That's true.
It sucks. It's horrible. So maybe I don't think about it because I just yeah I don't know what happens to us.
Yeah, it's honest. I mean, that's really the only answer to that question.
Yeah,
If you think,
we're at least a memory. We're a good memory to some. So that's it. I don't know.
all right. Final question. Um, what is this is a weird question that I kind of thought of randomly. What is a good sound effect for how your life is going? You could just make one sound effect for how life
I'm
is.
just gonna make you know what I'm gonna say is a good sound effect fart noises because fart noises are funny anyway and they're surprising and they can be great or they can be horrible. I mean, they can be a sense of relief, but they can be like, oh shit, what the fuck's gonna happen? Fart noises. Absolutely.
Farts are funny. They're
Farts
universal.
are funny.
Farts and people falling are funny
Uh-huh.
across every culture, every age, everything.
That's
People
right.
falling
Fart
down
noises.
a party.
I have friends that we get some of my closest friends that I'm like, where we have like, farting content. I've had stage gigs where I've been on stage with people who were off stage and we crop dust each other on stage. I mean, farts are funny. So
Yeah.
fart noises. Farts are always appropriate, even when they are inappropriate.
I went to high school with a guy who would try to fart the alphabet. And that was
What?
pretty. We'd be in like the football locker room, and for
Uh-huh.
whatever reason, the toilets are just next to the lockers. And he would just try to fart 26 times, and he usually did. It was crazy.
And that's hilarious. I can burp on cue. I can't fart on cue. Damn it.
Yeah, it's a real skill. All right,
Yeah.
well, that's all I have. Thanks for coming
Thanks, Matt.
on. Look up Ronnie Lloyd Nanos.
Yeah, Nanos works. That's right.
Hey, okay. Look him up on Facebook. Do you have an Instagram? I don't know.
I do. It's same name on
Nice.
Instagram.
I'll have to follow you if I'm not already following you.
The same on my Insta. Yep.
Check them out on IMDb.
And same name.
Find out the movies we discussed. They're all
They're on there.
all streaming somewhere, right?
Right. And if you go on IMDb, it gives you the connects and links on which ones are streaming and available to see. It does have that on IMDb.
And
Yeah.
go to RR and bring a mask.
Yep. And drink a lot.
And drink a lot, yes. Order some chicharrones,
Yeah. Right.
I don't know what else
All right,
on
man.
that, but chips.
Chips, tacos, sure.
Oh, yeah. All right.
All right, man.
Good to see you, man.
All right.
Good night.
You too. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.